Hello, everybody, and welcome to Metal Monday. I figure we've been doing this for a little bit now, and I really can't proceed with Metal Mondays if I don't at some point bring up Chuck Schuldiner and Death. Death being one of the premier death metal bands ever to exist. It's sometimes argued whether Death came first or Possessed came first. It's not really relevant, I don't think. Um, Chuck is still missed to this day. He died young from cancer, and it's a sad thing. Cancer always sucks. Was an extraordinary musician. This is one of the later albums. I have 4 or 5 Death albums. This one is Individual Thought Patterns. This is the 5th album by Death. Uh, I prefer the later albums, I think, because they tend to lean more into technical and progressive, and the lyrics also lean more away from the gore metal shock value thing into things that people actually might think about, which is more interesting to me than gore lyric kind of stuff. Most of the time, honestly, a lot of this material, the lyrics are unintelligible unless you're listening carefully. So when people are doing the gore metal thing, usually if I hear that, I'm listening to the playing. I'm not really paying that much attention to what's being said, because if I did, I'd probably just kind of get a little frustrated after a while with the repetitiveness of medical terminologies and going for gross outs. And it's not my cup of tea. Uh, I much prefer bands like Coroner, who actually are topical. Um, Even though the name doesn't sound like it, like Gorguts that I reviewed in a video recently, and they're talking about the Library of Wisdom in Baghdad being destroyed by the Mongols. That doesn't really sound like a topic for an album by a band called Gorguts. But these names can be deceptive. Sometimes these bands are really leaning into really intellectual material. Chuck was an extraordinarily gifted artist. He did, I think, 7 or 8 albums before he passed. Individual Thought Patterns is probably among some of his more technical work. It's about as technical as he could get, I suppose. My favorite cut on this is probably not as over the top as some, because at least part of it is kind of mid-tempo and slower, and that's The Philosopher. I think is a really cool track. I really enjoyed getting my hands on these because they're nice sounding copies, and they were put out as a limited run. I got 4 of these that I'm aware of, and one that was in a prior series. The first series was in a pattern that was pinwheels, and I'm trying to find a pinwheel of Scream Bloody Gore. I know it's not a very expensive album to get, but I really regret that I did miss out on getting that album. I love the album art on that, and it has one gore lyric track that I really appreciate because it's based on one of my favorite movies, City of the Living Dead. So I'd like to have that one in my collection as well. I do have a CD of it. This one is one of the Butterfly Effect pressings, and it's just an amazing looking disc, especially because you would think, with the different consistencies in vinyl, you would have problems with the sound going, because I've had that with some. These do not. They are so quiet. They are beautiful pressings, and these are all from Relapse. I keep the hype stickers. Relapse has done some really great stuff. I do not hesitate ever to buy records from Relapse, because wherever they're getting their stuff pressed, they're getting absolutely spectacular results, at least in every piece that I have added to my collection. I haven't added a lot. I've got maybe 15 albums, but the ones that I have are all just exquisite. So do check out some material by Chuck Schuldiner and Death if you haven't. I'm sure if you're a metalhead, you have. And that's it for Weird Spins Metal Monday. We'll see you real soon.